Sometimes I struggle to come up with new video ideas, and sometimes they're staring me right in the face. I have a massive pile of books that I no longer want and need to get rid of. So I decided to film my first ever unhaul. I typically don't do unhauls, but I thought maybe I'll do one today. Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I'm doing an unhaul video. As I just said in the intro, I have actually quite a few books here that I'm planning on getting rid of. A lot of these I DNF'd. I did not like the content, and also just books I lost interest in, books I were sent unsolicited that I weren't interested in reading, and classics I didn't like, etc., etc. You know, your typical pile of books that just accumulate and you don't have room on your shelves for because you want to put books you love on your shelves. So I'm going to show you all the books that I plan on getting rid of. Now, as a disclaimer, before I get into this, because apparently we all need to do a disclaimer before this video, if I am getting rid of a book that you liked, that you really enjoyed, do not take it personally. It's just I don't like the book as my own personal opinion, and I plan on getting rid of them. Also, I'm not sending these out to anybody. I cannot afford the postage. Even within Canada, the postage is probably worse for me to ship to you in Canada than it is to me to ship to someone in the States. So don't ask for these books. I would love to give them a new home, so they're just going to go to my secondhand bookstore where I can get book credit for cheaper books because I need to save money. So without further ado, I'm just going to show you all the books I'm getting rid of. The first book is probably a huge surprise as I hauled it and I was very excited for it for Christmas, and that is The Librarian of Auschwitz by Antonio, I can't say his name, some Italian writer. I was horribly disappointed in this book. The sexual content of this book was absolutely terrible. Again, there's just things in here as a Christian I can't agree with. I did not like the content of this. There was like a build-up anticipation to the possibility of a young middle grade aged girl getting raped, and I didn't like that it was a build-up. I understand that stuff like that happened in these camps, but I don't need like a build-up and anticipation to it. Is it gonna happen? Is she gonna get raped? I don't need to know this. I don't want that build-up or anticipation for it. That to me is not entertainment. And just little things like a guy getting to glance at a girl's underwear, like, but did that really need to be in there? It's just had too much content in there. These two characters start making out in the middle of it. You're like, you guys are in the middle of a death camp. Why are we making out? It was just too much for me. And just the language, I think there was even a couple of F words, and language in both German and English. So I was just really, really unimpressed. And I think I only made it to chapter 10. I didn't even make it that far in, and that's how much content I had in the first 10 chapters. So this is going to a new home. The next book is The Candidate by Liz Wheel. Again, author names. This I think I got in a Fiction Guild box, their anniversary box, and I don't read thriller fiction, and so I just wasn't interested in it. Also, I hear this is a Christian author, but she doesn't always write Christian values and stuff, so I just wasn't interested. I was told by some of more trusted Christian book reviewers that they just weren't a fan of hers, so I decided not to even bother give it a go. My bookstore might not take this, but I'm going to try. If not, I'm just going to donate it to them because why bother? The next one was an impulse buy, and that was The Help by Catherine Stockett. I bought this after I'd seen the movie with my friend, and I thought I should read the book. And I don't read adult fiction normally, so I don't know why I even picked this one up. It was $1, so for the hardback, it was $1. So that wasn't a bad price, so I'm going to take this in again and get some book credit for it. Again, this one was another dollar buy that I found at a secondhand or thrift store, and that was Alex and Nikki by Virginia Rounding. This is a historical, this is more historical nonfiction. I think Carolyn Mayer used this in one of her Anastasia books as a reference to information, and that's why I wanted to pick it up, because I just happened to find it in the thrift store right after I read that book, so I thought, oh, I should pick this up, because this time period of history is really fascinating to me. But to be honest, I'm never going to get around to reading it, so it's just taking up space on my shelf. The next one is The Recruits by Thomas Locke. I got the ARC sent to me by Rebel, so I wanted to read the first book. I got this on sale from my Christian bookstore, which is really good, but I don't know what's going on in this book series. I've read everything cover to cover in the first book. I started reading the second book. Do I know what's going on? Absolutely not. There's no connection to the characters. There's no connection to the storyline. I still don't know what this is even about. So I decided just to give it up because I'm not interested in continuing it anymore and just not interested in it at all. Now this is one I thought about keeping and hanging on to because I bought it when I was down at Powell's when I went to Portland. I don't know still if I'll give it up, but I have a newer looking, more pristine copy of The Princess of the Midnight Ball by Jessica Day George. So I thought of getting rid of my duplicate copy. Again, I don't know if I will get rid of this one. I'm still on the fence about it, but I don't need 2 copies of the same edition. One's just newer and in better condition. Next 2 books I'm getting rid of are Huckleberry Finn and Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain. I bought these classics because they match the really pretty Jane Austens and some of the other classics I found. And I kind of wanted these 2 books in matching editions, so I picked them up. I read Tom Sawyer, and I know I read it as a kid growing up. I know the storyline and everything. What I didn't realize as a kid with all of those editions and movies and children's classics that I read was actually how racist this book was. Not only to the black people of the US, but also to the Native American and the Native American mixed breed people down in the States. I just didn't like how they painted Indian Joe or Injun Joe because he was automatically the Indian or the half-breed they called him. He was the bad guy, and they were really racist to him and also to that group of people, and then just racist in general to the rest of the other population that weren't white. And it just was really annoying. I did not like the storyline. I did not like the characters. The conversations in here were stupid. And like, I know sometimes little boys can be like a little like obnoxious, but these kids were straight up stupid. Like, I couldn't deal with it. So I didn't even bother to read Huckleberry Finn, so I'm getting rid of these. Now the next 2 books were recommended to me by a lot of you guys that like World War II fiction, but I just lost interest in them. I did read The Butterfly and the Violin. These are both by Christy Cameron, but I have no interest in picking up the sequel, and I liked this one, but I don't think I'll ever give it a reread, and I have no interest in picking up the second one. So I think I'm just going to give them a new home to people who would appreciate them. Again, I liked this one. It was a great story, it had great characters, but I have no interest in picking up the next one. So yeah, these ones are going to go. The next one is another one I got from the Fiction Guild 1-year anniversary box, and that was A Long Way Gone by Charles Martin. I don't even know what this is about. I think this is about something, a songwriter. Yeah. I don't even know what it's about. So it's like adult Christian fiction. I'm gonna give it away. I'm not interested in it. The next 3 books you guys might remember from one of my big book outlet book hauls was these cover buys that I had been staring at forever in my book outlet cart because of the cover and the story sounded interesting. And I did read the first 2 books in the series. I read Elemental and Firebrand, but I have no interest whatsoever in picking up a Renegade. I don't really even remember what happened in the first 2 books, and I don't really care of what's going to happen in the next book. So I'm just going to give these ones up. They're YAs, so my bookstore will take them for sure in hardback. Sometimes the bookstore won't take hardbacks, especially in adult fiction, but for YA they'll take back hardbacks, no problem. So I'm going to give these ones up as well and send these little cover buys off to give me some book credit. Do another book haul because, as you guys know, I'm not somebody who just buys every book or every release and hope I like it. I tend to buy books that I know I like, authors I enjoy. So that just was a bunch of books that accumulated from either really cheap bargain shopping, impulse buys, and books being sent to me. So they're gonna go. And I'm gonna get some book credit, and that's gonna go towards books I do want to buy. That's it for me today, guys. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!